The Christina Lynn Podcast.
Who are you talking to right now? Who is it you think you see? Do you know how much I make a year? You clearly don't know who you're talking to, so let me clue you in. I am the danger. I am the one who knocks.
Dude, what does my tattoo say?
Sweet!
What about mine? Dude, what does mine say? Sweet!
If you listened to my first Tattoo Tuesday episode, you would know that I have a lot of tattoos. I started slow, my first one on my hip when I was 18. Now I have over 15, which pretty much makes it that I've gotten a tattoo a year since then. I even have 2 cover-ups, one including my entire back. There are a lot of factors to consider in the who, what, where, when, and why of getting a tattoo. The most important thing you should do no matter what is research. Research artists in your area, the styles they're best at, their reviews, and all social media posts. Now, when I say tattoo artist styles, I'm talking about black and gray is a style. You've got new school, you've got traditional. There are tattoo artists who pride themselves on a specific style of tattooing, even watercolor. Sure, there are artists out there who do a lot of different styles and do them very well. But when you find an artist who's really good at one particular style, you want to grab them and you want to use them for that talent. For the first one, I always say, go simple. Get the experience over with. Even if it's just a small little thing like a star or some sort of symbol or words, that way you get the experience out of the way. You understand the pain level, you understand how much to pay, how the whole process goes, and then you also understand how the healing process goes. There are 2 types of tattooers, in my opinion, a tattooist and a tattoo artist. Now, tattooist can also be applied to people who are tattoo artists, but for the sake of this episode, let me explain the difference between the 2, in my opinion. Tattooists are basic, mediocre, and generally inexperienced tattooers, or as I like to refer to them, copy and pasters. These are people that you would walk into a shop, they would be available for you to get your tattoo at that moment, and the thing that you want is super simple and doesn't involve much other design. A tattoo artist is a little bit more experienced, takes their time to actually design a tattoo, or these are ones that you can approach with your idea and see if they can come up with something based on what you're thinking. So basically an original design, which is what I highly recommend to do. So while there are people and good people that are available on demand at any time to go and walk into a studio and get tattooed, most really good tattoo artists out there are booked up a couple months in advance. Don't let this deter you from booking with a really good artist. Worst case scenario, you make that appointment and you think more about what you want to get. That's actually a great thing. And especially since it's something that you're going to live with for the rest of your life, I think that's a really good idea. Most good tattoo artists are booked out about 4 to 6 weeks. And that also depends on where you live, what time of year it is, etc. I need to say again, just because someone's available doesn't mean that they're a bad tattoo artist. It could mean that they have an opening, or it's a slow time of year, or any number of things. All I'm saying is that if you are to be spontaneous and walk into a tattoo shop and just get whoever you get, don't expect them to do some intricate design or something huge that involves a lot of thought or design to it. Make it easy on yourself and them if that's what you're going to do by putting an artist on the spot. I have plenty of tattoos that I got by just walking in. In fact, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, at least 4 of them. And again, I don't regret any of them. I love them so much, and I probably will do another walk-in somewhere at some point. If you've chosen your tattoo artist based on your research and perhaps meeting with them, getting to know them a little bit, you don't have to create an entire intimate relationship with them, but this is somebody who is going to change your body permanently. So you need to be on the same page. With that being said, you need to make sure you're listening to them. This is what they do. They tattoo. They've seen people have a similar tattoo of what you're doing on that place in your body. They've gone through years of maybe making a little mistake and seeing how that's grown over a couple of years and knowing how to avoid that mistake in the future. You don't have to go with exactly everything that they say, but just remember that they do this day in and day out. But there are some artists that would turn away somebody with unreal expectations or who is generally difficult to work with. Also, if you go with a tattoo artist, you need to respect the fact that they spend time coming up with the design for you. Even if it's the 15 minutes before your walk-in appointment or if it's 3 months, make sure that you give them references that make sense. Most tattoo artists and shops have minimums. This is for a couple of reasons. As my friend Lindsay says, you get what you pay for. And my friend Joaquin also mentioned a good tattoo isn't cheap and a cheap tattoo isn't good. Remember that and do not negotiate your price for your tattoo with your artist. This is their time, this is their supplies, this is their skill, and this is their livelihood. You're also getting permanently branded by whatever design it is that you've decided. Make sure you're willing to spend the money on getting it done right. It costs a lot more to try to get it removed and even more to get it covered up. I can attest to that because my back was one of those stories. If you don't remember that, go back to my first episode, my first Tattoo Tuesday, where I explain what happened. For even my small ones, I've walked away paying about $150, and that's including tip. If you're afraid of needles, tattooing is nowhere near the same thing. I can't handle getting my blood drawn. I can't handle getting shots. But tattoo me all day, every day, and I will be fine. The thing in common is that it is a needle in both situations, but the needles used for your skin only sit on top of your skin, but they don't pierce through your skin into your system, and even saying that makes me nauseous. It's going to hurt. The less you exclaim and the less that you move, the better the artist has a chance of being precise and focused. And the people around you, if you're at a shop with other artists, would also appreciate it if you didn't swear or scream like this guy.
Oh, hold on.
If you have a low pain tolerance, I would not suggest getting a tattoo. If you have a medium pain tolerance, I think you'll be able to handle this. On that same note, make sure that you have something with sugar in it in case you do feel lightheaded or faint, especially if it's a big tattoo and it's going to take a long time. My tradition in the beginning was always getting a Frosty afterwards. If you need to take a break, speak up and tell your artist that. It is not worth it for you to pass out just because you're too prideful. They'll understand. They see it all the time. Make sure you're wearing comfortable clothes, and as my friend Lindsay reminds us, don't wear any clothes that you're not willing to ruin. The tattoo ink gets all over the place, but there's also a couple other things that they have to use to make sure that your skin is prepped, make sure that your skin is healing right, and those things may get on your clothing as well. Now for the healing process. Now that your skin has been peeled back a couple layers and some ink has been put in there, your body's going to wonder what the hell is going on. Therefore, the next couple days are really important with making sure that you keep bacteria away from it and keep it as clean as possible. A tattoo artist or studio should have a printout or at least some reference of how best to take care of your tattoo. And to be honest with you, it does vary from place to place. I've heard some people say use A&D ointment for 3 days. I've heard some people say don't use A&D. I've had other people say water base. I've heard other people say less fragrance. Just to be on the safe side, go as natural and clean and fragrance free as you can and make sure that you just keep it clean. There is a new thing out there. I forgot what the name of it is, but one of the last tattoos that I got, she used this cover-up that basically healed it for you over a couple of days. So that was really cool. Things you want to avoid always, though, is direct sunlight, swimming, and working out. I know those things are kind of like a buzzkill, especially after like getting a tattoo and you want to show it off. But believe me, it's worth it. You want to make sure that your tattoo heals well. It will scab and it will itch. Do not pick at it. I'm not kidding you, had one of my tattoos actually scab up and fall off. It was a heart on my finger. Granted, it was in a place that was pretty elastic skin, so it wasn't going to stay very long as it was. But just think about that. I had a tattoo. I had gotten a tattoo that scabbed up and fell off. I usually like to give about 2 weeks time for full healing, especially if it's a big one. Depending on how much ink you got, whether there's a lot of shading or coloring, or maybe if it's just line work, depends on how long you'll have to let it heal. And my one last thing, make sure the place that you're going is sanitary. This is almost a medical procedure. If their supplies don't come out of a sealed pouch when they're getting ready for you, if they're not wearing gloves, and if you're not in a clean space, and I don't mean someone's kitchen, I don't mean someone's living room, and I'm not talking about if a person is working out of a space in their house. There are legitimate setups like that, as long as they're insured, as long as they're claimed as a business. I'm talking about tattoo parties, or someone who just wants to tattoo at their house, or they're giving away free something. Just be careful. Use your best judgment. I'm sure not all of them are going to turn out infected, and I'm sure not all of them are going to be the worst ones ever, but just use your brain. For more content and new episodes, head over to ChristinaLynn.com. That's XTinaLynn, XTINALYNNE.com.
The Christina Lynn Podcast.
Who are you talking to right now? Who is it you think you see? Do you know how much I make a year? You clearly don't know who you're talking to, so let me clue you in. I am the danger. I am the one who knocks.